Hi there, my name's Forth Hoyt, and in today's video we're going to talk about how you can buy your first home in 2025. Now you don't know who I am and you're asking yourself, why should I listen to this guy, But I've been in real estate since 2001, and therefore I've kind of gone full circle a few times as far as the market is concerned. I know the trends. I've been gaining knowledge and wisdom in the industry for the last 23 years. And now I'm making these videos for people like you who want to learn more about real estate from, a reputable source that isn't just trying to sell you something. So the big question here is whether or not it's possible to buy a home in 2025. Your first home is always going to be stressful and hard, no matter what the market is doing. But a lot of people have told me they just don't believe they can do it. And I'm here to tell you that if there's a will, there's a way. The overall answer is yes, you can buy a home. And there's a set of criteria that you must meet in order to be qualified to buy. Now, what I mean qualified to buy, qualified for a loan. Most of the time, you got to get a loan to purchase a property, So those criteria change over time as the economy changes, and things are good and the criteria is less restrictive. And when things are tight in poor economic times, the criteria becomes tighter and tighter, and what that means is just more selective. So you might be worried that it's not possible. But I know from experience that, like I said, where there's a will, there's a way. What can be variable is how long it takes you to get ready. You might be worried that it's not possible, but I know from experience that if there's a will, there's a way. We help folks every day to buy real estate, and no matter what the environment is, in real estate, escrows are opening and closing every day. So no matter what the market is, no matter what the economy is, the season, don't despair. There's always deals happening. Let's make your deal happen. Things do change fast sometimes, so get ready to know your situation, learn the rules, and work to get yourself in a better position. By being on top of the requirements, you can take advantage of the things when things do change. There's never a better time than right now. It is possible. If you get nothing else from this video, just understand that there is no better time to get started than right now, no matter what. So let's go into a little bit more detail into the technical side of the essential information that you'll need to start the home buying process. There's actually really so much to know, but you don't need to know it all. The more you know, the faster you'll feel confident and comfortable about the process and knowing what you've got to do. The first thing you've got to do, the most important thing, is to locate your financial situation. Where are you right now? Lenders answer the question, where am I and what needs to happen, if anything, in order to get to where I want to go. So no matter what the market or the economy is doing, that's your first move. Again, the first thing to do is to get pre-approved for a mortgage with a great lender. And the other most important move is in recruiting your team, your entire team. When I mean team, the team that you'll be working with you, that you're going to be coming to rely on to successfully guide you through this process. The team are the professionals that you choose to hire. And the real estate agent is your most important and can be considered the quarterback or maybe the coach. Because the agent who's going to call the plays, who's going to also execute the plays that will ultimately get you to the end zone. And just like any professional team, the players, your players, should be hand-selected. In the sports world, the coaches and scouts spend a lot of time finding the players, putting those teams together. They're scouted and interviewed, and there's much deliberation goes on in picking those athletes for each position. So your team needs to be kind of the same. Take your time, learn as much as you can to find the right people to help you put this together. Because your team is going to help you purchase one of the largest assets in your life. So you've got to make sure you have the right players. From all the people that you meet and all the people that you come into contact with. In order to ask the right questions, you'll need to educate yourself on the process and ask many, many questions. So just get started reading, read everything you can find, listen to everything you can, meet as many people as you can that are in the business, and as far as the math is concerned, it's pretty basic. Cutting down and cutting out any of your other debt is probably the most critical. The debt to income ratio is so important. And what that is a measurement of your debt as it relates to your income. There's actually two different ratios that measure this. One's called the front end ratio and one's called the back end ratio. The front end ratio is just your mortgage payment, your taxes and insurance, your housing costs, and how it relates to your income. The back end includes all those along with any other monthly debt payments, credit cards, student loans, personal loans, auto loans, stuff like that. Because basically it's anything that shows up on your credit report. Generally, most of the time, things like phone bills and utilities, things like that aren't included. They're just considered living expenses, like groceries. Groceries don't show up in your credit report either. So knowing what the front end and the back end ratios are, it will help you understand how lenders are going to look at you and assess the risk of giving you a loan. If you only watch this video to this point, you'll be off to a pretty good start in entering the home buying process, but you'll have everything you need to build a foundation for success. But this isn't the end of the story, because now you have to go implement the information, right? So I know it can be just a little bit scary to do that, but the hardest part is just taking the first step. So learn, get out there, ask questions, watch the webinars, talk to the people, go on appointments. The more you talk to people and the more that you learn, the more you're going to have confidence in the process and know whether you're ready or what you're going to have to do to get ready and how long that's going to take. Even if you simply cannot do it because of your finances, you'll learn exactly where you are and what you might need to do in order to get to where you need to be. So once you've taken that first step, you need to go get what I like to call your shopping pass. Your shopping pass is basically your pre-approval letter. Now, pre-approval is different from pre-qualification. Now, pre-approval it puts you in a position to write an offer immediately. And in a fast-moving competitive market like we've had, this is critical. So pre-approved means you're able to close your mortgage loan as fast as you can get an appraisal and a title report. You see, and sellers know that. And of course, sellers' agents know that. So when your offer shows up with an attached pre-approval letter and verification of funds, meaning that showing that you have enough money for your closing costs, your down payment, enough of a cushion to pay for inspections and the additional fees that might come up, etc., that your offer is almost as good as a full cash offer, right? So I say all that to say, get your pre-approval letter so that you can move forward quickly. What that looks like is that all the process that normally goes on during the transaction, once you're in escrow, has to happen up front. Your bank statements, your pay stubs, your tax returns, all that stuff has to be gone through before the approval letter can be written. And what that means is that you're ready to close the loan, except all you need is a title report and an appraisal. So get your approval letter so you can move forward quickly, and then work with your realtor to find exactly what you're looking for, right? Because once you know exactly what you're looking for, you and your agent can systematically search online. And when you're doing that, the first step is to determine whether or not you need to see it in person. Checking out everything available online first in just a few minutes. Most of it you can even get on your phone, That's going to eliminate many of the properties that might look like a possibility, at first glance. So, for instance, HOA rules, school districts, wildfire insurance issues, flood zones, all that kind of stuff are all things that you can learn in just a few minutes and like I say, eliminate some of the properties that at first glance you would want to go look at and find those things out later. So the next step is after you find a home that you like, you're going to put in an offer on it. And this is where the negotiation starts. For the purchase contract, and the realtor will begin negotiating things like the price, the terms, the conditions. Once you get approval on that contract and everybody signs, you'll go through what's called the due diligence period. Here in California, they call it the contingency period. Those are when you take the steps to find out all the little details and uncover all the risks related to the home that you want to buy. And then once you get through with all that, if everything goes well, you close the transaction and you move in. One of the things I want to do is to highlight the fact that this process seems pretty simple when you lay it out like this. And that's because, the most part it is pretty simple. There are all kinds of real estate gurus and investors that teach a million different tips and tricks you can do. And a lot of the time you really can do the things that they teach, but you don't need to. You can do the simple process of getting a pre-approval letter, finding a home, writing an offer, negotiating the contract, and closing the transaction, moving in. It doesn't need to be that complicated, right? But I will say that depending on your circumstances, you might have more assets to pull from. So maybe you already own a home and you want to move to a new home without having to find a place to move in between. Sell a home, buy a home, move from A to B without moving twice. That's what's called a contingent offer, and we go over everything you need to know about them in the video on screen now.